Hey, everybody, it's Colin Martin. It's time for another edition of Hump Day Highlight. We are here with Patrick Alexander of, I'm going to let you pronounce your company name. Say your company name again one more time.
It's Balambico. Balambico.
So tell us about that name. What does it mean?
So, so we are a web and digital marketing agency. And when we started back in 2012, I'm the founder. I was trying to figure out what name to use. And everything I had web or design was already taken because, as you know, there are a number of web development agencies. And I had an aha moment where I said, I want my company to be like Google and Amazon and Yelp and all of these companies that have these unique names. So I decided to combine my growing up nickname, which is Balambi Incorporated. So when you combine Balambi Incorporated, it's Balambico. And ironically, if you search for Balambico, we are the only Balambico online. So it works.
That's a great story. That's an awesome story. Now, you're not from Fayetteville originally, I can tell. Where are you from originally?
So funny story. I'm actually from the island, the nature island of the Caribbean. It's called Dominica, and it's not the Dominican Republic. And I was the very first person born on the day that the country gained its independence from Great Britain.
Wow.
And I was held by Princess Margaret of Wales, who came to give the Declaration of Independence on behalf of her sister, Queen Elizabeth. So yeah, and that was actually, my birthday was 1 week ago, election day, November 3rd.
That's a great story. I'm talking to a celebrity here today. So tell me about your business. What all you do? You mentioned digital marketing. What else do y'all do?
Yeah, so we do. So what I like to say is that we specialize in making companies look better than the competition online, right? So we do websites, we do digital marketing, and one of the things that we've pivoted to, especially during the pandemic, when most customers are searching for businesses online, we've pivoted to online reputation. And that's part of digital marketing, where we help companies monitor and manage the reviews online. We also help them get rid of negative reviews and ensure that they have a pristine online presence. So whatever you would like your company to be reflected online, we ensure that this is the case. So we give our companies, anyone that's new with us, like a complete digital report, so they see what someone searching for them sees online. So that's one of the things that we do.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And I know from folks I talk to, that's a big need, because if you get a negative review online, that could ruin your whole business.
Oh yeah.
Now, do you do it across platforms? You mentioned Yelp. I know that's a source of sometimes negative reviews. Do you do it across all those platforms as well?
All of those platforms. So we have one tool that we use. So it monitors your Facebook, it monitors your Google reviews, and any review platform. So it's a tool that we have that integrates with Google, and we monitor whatever is being said about the company. So any negative stuff that's being said, we just say, we capture it, we let our clients know, and we respond as well.
So you've been in this business now for since 2012. Is that what I heard you say?
Correct. And my personal background is I touched a computer in '95, and I vowed that I was going to learn how to do every single thing for computer, and I can do it to this day. And I just fell in love with the web, right? And from 2012, we just pivoted to handling everything online.
Yeah. So now, how did you get to Fayetteville, Georgia, from? Make sure I say this right. Dominica.
Correct, Dominica. Correct. And it's not the Dominican Republic. Do you want the short version or the long version?
Well, we've only got a few minutes, so give us the short version.
So I came here 21 years ago. I went to school in Norton, Oklahoma. I did 8.5 years in San Antonio, Texas. I worked for the military. and some other businesses. And then 8.5 years ago, I moved to Miami, and then COVID hit, and we moved to Fayetteville. My wife and I, with also my business partner and our daughter, we moved here at the end of May. That's the short
Well,
version.
we'll have to have another conversation. I used to live in Lawton, Oklahoma myself.
Wow.
I
Were you
was
in the
stationed.
military? Oh yeah.
I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma,
Fort
but that's
Sill.
that won't get into that now. So we always do, and we'll wrap this up here. We always do what we call the 3 H's: a hero, a highlight, and a what you're hopeful for in the future. So tell us who your hero is.
My hero really was my grandfather. And whenever I speak about him, it's like tears come to my eye. He couldn't read and write, but he could do everything else. And one of the reasons he's my hero is like he was one of the first male figures in my life because my dad passed away at when I was 3 years old, and my grandfather was just, I mean, as I said, he was a carpenter, he was a mason, he was a fisherman, he was a cultural icon, and you know, I actually, one of the things I want to do that when I pass away, it's like he passed away and no one had anything negative to say about him. Wow. He was about 75 years and everyone loved him. All his kids loved him, right? And I just remember being with him growing up, and he spoiled the hell out of us, right? Gave us candy, never spanked us. He always threatened to spank us, but he never did that. And he always told me whatever he was doing, if he was cooking, if he was doing masonry, if he was in carpentry, he always would invite you to come and hang out and help out. And I just enjoyed being with my grandfather. And it's like, it's definitely my hero.
Sounds like a great guy. So what's a highlight from your career or personal life that helped shape who you are today?
So one of the things that, you know, I said I grew up in a third world country. And what really helped shape my career is me being born on the day that my country gained its independence. Because of that, I got my education paid for by the government and the Rotary Club, and I didn't disappoint them. And I grew up, you know, in what I call abject poverty, the kind of poverty you see on the television, right? Not having any running water or not knowing where the next dollar is coming from for the first 18 years of my life. And just through educating myself, right, from, I mean, just, you know, just getting the highest level of education and doing some personal and professional development work, I was able to transform that. So that's really, I mean, as I said, my story is really fascinating if we're able to get deep dive into it. But that's the highlight, you know, really transforming poverty through education and just taking on the role of an entrepreneur, which was really, you know, interesting to do, live in the corporate world and just venture out on your own and start your own business. So that's a big highlight for me.
Well, okay, so now we got to have another conversation another time about all that. That sounds like a fascinating story. And we'll end on this note as we always do. What are you hopeful about in the future?
So what I'm really hopeful about, you know, we just had an election, right? And not wanting to get political at all, just for us to come together, transform COVID-19 and all businesses doing well, and we're just back on track, and we're back pre-pandemic in a more serious, in a more prosperous, right, and really optimistic way. That's what I'm hopeful for.
Well, I'm with you on that. I'm ready to get past this and get back to business too. Well, Patrick, first of all, thank you for being a member of our chamber. Really, thank you for coming to Fayette County and bringing your business here. What a great story. And really, we could probably talk another hour and a half just on all the parts of your story, but we'll keep it short today. But thanks again. And folks, that wraps up this edition of Hump Day Highlight. We will see you next week.